big profits on smaller deals. This is a perfect example, and it's a part of our $1 million challenge. A lot of times when people are new into flipping properties, or maybe they've been doing it for a while, but they think that it's like HGTV. You have to do big flips, a lot of complicated type of rehab to really make a lot of money. This one is a small property, yet the profit is going to be massive. So let's go inside, because it's not about how much you rehab. It's how little work that you do to make an extraordinary amount of money. That is the secret to flipping. So let's go inside. I'm going to show you exactly what we did. Small rehabs for big profits. So flipping a lot of times is not about how much work you do. It's about how little you do, but do the right type of work to increase the value on the back end. We call that KBB, which is kitchen, bedrooms, and baths. So first we'll look at the living room. In the living room, we actually didn't do much. We certainly didn't touch the floors. All we did was we had them sanded and we had them revarnished, and that's it. All the windows remained the same. Because see, to change all the windows in the entire house, that would be an additional budget of about $5,500 to $6,000. We left that alone. Now, one thing we did do here, which is we added canned lights. So why did we do that? Well, it just gives it that nicer finished look. So this is one place we did spend money. Now, the most important thing is the kitchen. In the kitchen, this is a pretty standard sized kitchen for us. Regular basic white cabinets, basic countertops, even though it's a solid surface countertop with quartz, and basic set of appliances, and basic luxury vinyl plank. Now, one thing that makes the big difference here, why you kind of get this wide shot, is that this was a closed-in kitchen, so we just opened up this wall. That's kind of what KBB is all about, is what are the small things we can do. So you're spending about $600-700 to open the wall, yet the perception is, oh my God, it's a nice big kitchen. Why? Because if there's a wall here, it would close the kitchen in, it would make it small. Now it looks rather big. So now let's go in the bedrooms. I'm going to show you exactly what we did, because we did a couple of unique things. Generally, we're putting up a wall to make more bedrooms. This house had 4 bedrooms and 1 bath. So we have bedroom number 1 over there. Then we had an existing bathroom that was already in the property. And this is where you got to be strategic. We didn't take out the tub. We just went ahead and sprayed it, put in new tiles here, redid the rest of the bath. Guys, something like this, you don't have to go in, install a new tub every time, because it's not really going to get you that kind of value. For about $300-350, you can spray the existing old tub, but update the plumbing as well as electric. That's something we always do. When we talk about flipping a house, when we talk about rehabbing, I'm not talking about being cheap. I'm not talking about cutting corners. What I'm talking about is doing things by the code, but not overdoing things. So this is a big room. If you notice, there used to be kind of a wall here. So this was split into 2 bedrooms. So it had almost like 4, actually I was saying 4. It had almost 5 bedrooms in this property because they were kind of small and choppy. So we made this a nice big master, and here's what we did to increase the back end value. We put in a big, nice bathroom here. It's a nice stand-up shower. It just gives it that next level look, because this is an area what we would call a workforce housing neighborhood, right? This is a very bread and butter area. So what are people looking for? Well, they want to have 3, ideally, I mean, in a perfect world, 4 bedrooms. But what is more important is today people want at least 2 baths, because most people that are going to buy this property, in a lot of cases, they may have a kid or 2. Generally, that's what's going to be the profile of the person. And so what is the cost? You always have to look at it. What is the cost of doing something? And then what is the benefit? Meaning, what is the back end value that we're going to get for it? So if I add an extra bathroom, we have the space and we could put it in. That cost is going to be overall about $3,000 to $4,000, maybe $5,000 if I really push it. But what does it do to my value? It increases my back end value by almost $20,000. Let's think about it. 4x right? You took out a wall in the kitchen, spent about $500-600 extra, maybe $800 extra, increased the perceived value by $25,000 to $30,000 when people came in. On top of that, you took out a wall in the bedroom and made it larger. So now you have a nice big master suite, as we're calling it, and you were able to add a bathroom. See, what it did was your cost really didn't go up by that much. Maybe $6,000, maybe $7,000. Yet the back end value went up by almost 35 to 40 because you did KBB, kitchen, bedroom, and bath. We'll discuss the numbers once we walk through the basement. So let's go downstairs. All right, so we're in the basement. This is pretty standard size for what we do in the basements. We go ahead and epoxy the floors so that it looks nice and clean, nothing very fancy. All the walls are sprayed so that they look nice and clean. And for the ceilings, this is nice, good size ceilings. We don't generally finish a basement in most properties that we do flips on, and we just spray it with some sort of a charcoal type of a black color because it kind of blends everything in and gives a nice open area. For a lot of families, they may put maybe a ping pong table here, a pool table, or just kids area for kids to play, or just household goods and stuff that they may want to store. Generally, unless it's an area where I am square footage limited, meaning the square footage cannot be expanded, nothing can be done with it, and the price point is very high in that particular area, then we'll finish a basement. Otherwise, in most cases, we avoid finishing basements if we don't have to, and if it's not going to add additional value to the property. Meaning, if I'm going to spend, let's just say $15,000 or $20,000 finishing a basement, and all it does is basically bring up the value by $10,000, am I going to spend 15 to get 10,000 in value back? Absolutely not. Now, if I can put in 15 here and get 45 to 50,000 in value, meaning 2 to 3 times the value back, then we're gonna go and finish the basement. See, flipping is not about how much work you do. Flipping is all about how little work you do to make an extraordinary return. Because flipping done right, if that's where you want to make $1 million, like this is a part of our $1 million challenge, it's all about speed, it's all about efficiency, and not overdoing things, knowing what to do so this can be a duplicatable process. Having said that, let's go upstairs and we're going to talk about the numbers on this property and see what kind of profit we make. So this property was bought for $65,000. It was a property that we bought off market, meaning we had done mailing to be able to find this property through DealBeast. That's where we got the lead from, and we did a mailing and bought it directly from the owner. $65,000 purchase. In terms of rehab, for everything that you see in the property, we did this rehab for about $55,000. So my cost is purchase plus rehab. That's about $120,000. On top of that, I'm gonna have 2 more costs. One is the carrying cost of the property, meaning the interest that I paid, utilities, all those types of things. That's gonna be another $14,000 or so. And then on top of that, I'm gonna have some selling costs. That's commissions, attorney fees, title fees. That's gonna be another 15. So if I add all of those, it puts me at somewhere around 120 plus another 30, so I'm about $150,000 in cost. That's called your all-in cost, meaning what did you spend on all the things? And you got to do that cost properly. So what is the sale price of this property? That's $220,000, and we're getting a ton of showings. Now, granted, as we record this, property has not sold yet. But what is my margin on the property? The margin of profit on this property is about $70,000 if everything goes perfectly. Now, let's just suppose everything does not go perfectly because we are in a real world that we have to live in. So guys, would you be happy making $50,000 on a property that is this small on an easy project? I think I would, right? $50,000 to $55,000, $60,000. The best part about this is this. This is not just something that I can do. See, this, flipping properties, buying them right, rehabbing them right, this is a learnable process. The reason we're doing the $1 Million Challenge is to demonstrate, and we're putting up the addresses, we're showing you exactly what we're doing, because this is something that is duplicatable and this is something that you can learn. So what did we learn from this property? Well, what we learn, and that's the point of this entire series, is that the small deals will make you a lot of money. The goal of a pro is not to do a lot of work to make good money. The pro understands that they have to pick the right property so they can make a tremendous amount of profit. Guys, we're doing this because we want to share what is possible today with real estate, and we're going to show you all different types of houses as you've already seen in the series. Make sure you like, you share, you comment, because that's what gives us the energy to keep sharing more and more information with you. See, a lot of people have theories. We have properties. You want to have properties, you want to learn, you want to grow, go to andrewholmesrealestate.com. Super thrilled. We'll see you there.